Welcome back to another week of Eater's Digest. With me, as always, is Willow North, a.k.a. Ye of Little Faith. We are now on week 3 of trialing food-centric video opening banters, and already we have too much to choose from. The new Just a Dash on Netflix. Romeo got a real Dr. Pepper ad, allegedly for $2 million. Adam Ragusa, horny, posted about spatchcocked chicken. Twitch streamer Northern Lion posted recipe discourse. Guy Fieri debuted a new normie look, and yet all of that has been outdone by the fact that you did, in fact, eat meat last night. How was that?
So I was supposed to do it last night, but we had a little bit of roadblock, and I actually did it about 2 hours ago. So I'm fresh off my introduction back into that world, and I gotta say it was pretty good. It was a little more emotional than I expected it to be, but that was a damn good sandwich. Any tofu cutlet I have ever had does not hold a candle. I'll say that much.
You know, I was just watching a fitness influencer try soda for the first time in a while, full sugar soda. And he's like, oh, all this time that I've been saying diet soda is just as good. I've been wrong. And I feel like that's kind of what happens when you don't have the real thing for so long. You're just like, yeah, this is just as good, right?
As I sit here drinking my diet soda, fully convinced that it is better than regular Coca-Cola.
Well, I know that you have some feelings on the Just a Dash show. We'll try to do a little bit of rapid fire about the media that we have covered. You thought that it was very different from the YouTube series.
Yeah, I just thought the vibe was definitely different. To be honest, I didn't watch the full series. I watched like the first 5 episodes. I think there's 10. And I will say I enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it, but I do feel like it focused even less on the food than I expected it to, which, given the history of Just a Dash, it's like kind of zany. I don't really expect things to do anything except go off the rails, but in particular, and like spoiler alert for anybody that like is going to watch this, like I am about to spoil something, the one episode where he goes into his old elementary school and he talks to the kids, I was like, this has nothing to do with food, and it is literally just about watching Maddie get bullied by little kids, which was great. It was very entertaining.
I see it as a spiritual relative to that old show that I used to do with my friend Armando, in that if we had to bring it back to some new format, we'd have to figure out like how much of it would be story and how much of it would be food. Regarding the Romeo Dr. Pepper ad, I do see that this is becoming quite a much bigger deal than it needs. I don't want to say that it needs to be, but it's becoming a whole new thing where now everybody's trying to make different ads for different brands. I saw Dr. Thunder, baby, it's good for the price. I saw one for Mountain Dew. I'm seeing people sit down and spend hours trying to get rich off of this new wave.
Yeah, you sent me a few really good TikToks. There was one where it was like this girl like videotaping her dad trying to record a jingle for Coca-Cola. And I also saw that Romeo not only got the Dr. Pepper ad, but they are like being sponsored to go on a trip with Hyundai.
I spent the entire day, I forget which day it was, I think Friday or Saturday, doing Vita Coco, Yo Go Loco, because it's so dang delicioso. Some of these are genuinely good, I will say.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like maybe this person has found their calling.
I know we have a lot to talk about this week, and I think it's going to go a little bit over schedule, so we might as well get straight into it.
Awesome. Very glad that you didn't make me talk about that Adam Ragusa video.
I saw that it was next on the notes and decided to pivot. Don't
Wonderful.
Look it up.
The latest viral food hack sweeping social media involves stuffing containers of Greek yogurt with Biscoff or other crunchy cookies and letting it soften together in the fridge, a creation that has since been dubbed Japanese cheesecake, not to be confused with actual Japanese souffle-style cheesecake. While some folks are delighted by this sweet protein-spiked treat, others have reacted with animosity and confusion.
Others. 5 years ago, a subreddit called Wall Street Bets applied so much force to a stock for a company called GameStop that the price behaved in ways that nobody previously thought possible. And today, we would have called it a meme stock, an asset performing under pressures from crass, undereducated, superstitious, easily influenced idiots on social media who were self-aware enough to adopt the motto, apes together strong. And I bring this up because we, in every industry, even food, have to accept the fact that markets, culture, politics, morality, the definition of words are all asymmetrically influenced by an app on which the user base is largely illiterate and easily misled. You know which group of reactors to the yogurt cheesecake I fall into, so you're welcome to take the other stance, which I know you will because we've talked about this before.
Yes, we've been going back and forth in the DMs about this for days. I am of the belief that like you're simply thinking too much about it. Like there's nothing wrong with wanting to eat a little bit of yogurt with some stuff in it. Like I see so many people who are like, a slice of cheesecake is only 300 calories. Like, just eat a slice of cheesecake. Why would you do this? And, like, that's all well and good. Like, a little sliver of cheesecake probably is 300 calories. But I went and looked it up. A plain slice of cheesecake from the Cheesecake Factory is 830 calories. And the most basic, like, New York style cheesecake from the New York Times cooking app, 730 calories per piece. So, like, I don't know where people are getting these numbers from, but eating some plain yogurt with some cookies in it is not at all equivalent to eating a fat slice of cheesecake.
I think that you are luckily and blissfully not online regarding this as much as I am because this is like a culinary game of telephone that has escalated so quickly that within a matter of hours or maybe days, people have started using tubs of the no-bake Philadelphia cheesecake filling and then putting cookies in that. So this idea that it's like a healthy trend isn't true. The fact that it's like not cheesecake or it's meant to be cheesecake is not true. Like my complaint is multifold. It's not that it's not cheesecake. The people who perpetuate it do have extremely limited vocabularies. I remember sending you one video where it's like the words that they use to describe it are, of course, viral, and then they eat it and they're like, oh, so creamy with that crunch. These are softened cookies, by the way. Like there's weak but emerging evidence that this is backed by Biscoff in an effort to rebrand internationally. And yes, some people are dumber than I think you must believe because your reaction of just like, nobody believes this is really cheesecake, right? I think makes me wish I was you a little bit because some people online are so much dumber than you must realize.
If you're putting it in a tub of no bake cheesecake filling, then yeah, sure, it's cheesecake. Knock yourself out. But putting it in yogurt doesn't make it cheesecake. And I also don't think there's anything wrong with calling it that. Like, to me, it's the same logic that people use against, like, you can't call almond milk milk. Like, almonds don't have any nipples. You can't milk an almond. Like, I don't care what you call it. Like, I understand. And I think most reasonable people can deduce that, like, you're using the word cheesecake to evoke a certain thing that you're trying to get across, which is that it is a creamy, tangy dairy item with like a softened, crusty element. Crusty. Oh, maybe I shouldn't use that word.
I guess even if you were to not care about the word cheesecake, you do have to at some point care about what the word hack really means. There's a Costco matcha ice cream hack. Have you seen that one where you mix matcha powder into the Costco ice cream?
No, but like I would agree that like hacks have gone too far. I agree, but I'm also not losing my mind over it like some people are. Some people.
I don't feel as though I'm losing my mind, and partially because I'm so sure in my
You
resolve.
posted.
I'm so sure in my resolve on this. Like this is one of those things where it's just like I'm so certain that history will smile fondly upon my point of view on this one that I have no worries that things will go poorly for me.
You say that you're not losing your mind over it, and you literally posted like a 40-second clip of yourself yelling at your camera about it on Instagram.
Well, we won't even be able to look fondly back upon this year, remembering a moment based in yogurt cheesecake, the way that we look on like housewives in the 50s or whenever that was when they were putting everything into a Jell-O mold, because there's no lasting cultural moment in a world in which trends last hours or days rather than months or years. And I think a majority of TikTok hacks, whether they're culinary or otherwise, are just wrong and bad. Right now, people are like washing their fur coats in the snow. Have you seen that? They drag their fur coats around in the snow.
I haven't seen it with fur coats at all. I'm like familiar with that being a thing that people do to like vintage wool and stuff like that.
But you wouldn't want to wash your wool or your fur in water, and snow is just water. So I don't think that's a very good idea. But even when the hack itself is right and good, like eating whole foods or getting fresh air, they have to be anchored to a hook that's like, everybody's burping their house. This is all about house burping, or like, this is what I cook when I want to eat a cucumber in one sitting. Like the hook is really the swag generator, like the vibe generator of it all. And in order for you to talk about the ways in which these tides shift culture in meaningful, unrelenting ways, you have to examine not just the material outcome, i.e. the cheesecake or the dessert or whatever you want to call it, but also the way in which it's presented to other people.
I struggle to, like, really see, like, what it is that you really want to get at here. Like, I don't think that every, like, viral food moment needs to have, like, some sort of crazy, like, cultural significance, though I will say I did have Biscoff spread in pistachio butter out on my 2026 in out chart. Maybe I can, like, put that image in, we can throw that up there or something. Um Basically, this whole segment is just another opportunity for me to say I'm right and you're wrong.
Anytime a trend appears in this way, it is significant in that it's like a sort of unseen or sometimes unspoken vibe shift, cultural like we are operating under these forces every single day. They have such a huge effect, whether we want to admit it or not. And if I wanted to be, I guess, misanthropic, I would just be like, "Oh well, you tried meat 2 weeks after the food pyramid changed. Isn't that interesting?" Like things, they have this unseen effect on all of us. And I think whether it means that the Biscoff company's bottom line improves significantly, or yogurt sells out the way that cucumbers sold out internationally, like they do have an effect on us. And I think it's worth examining who's winning from such a thing happening.
I would like to point out that I have been vocally meat curious, even so on the podcast for probably like a year plus at this point. So no, it is not a result of the food pyramid telling me that I should be eating meat. I will say though, I do feel like Biscoff has been approaching a peak moment like this for a while. Something I've noticed in the last year is that I see Biscoff being a really big fast food flavor in countries outside the US. I follow some of those Instagram accounts that report on like new snacks and products and things like that, like Snackalator, Snack with Zach. One of those accounts posts stuff happening outside the US too. And I've noticed that Biscoff and cookie butter has been like a huge flavor outside the US and not so much in. But in the last year, I feel like that has increased. Biscoff made ice cream bars that came out like a year and a half ago that I see everywhere now. It's becoming a big flavor at both Crumble and Dunkin' Donuts. I agree that like this could be a psyop by Big Cookie or whatever the hell you want to call this. But I just think that most people are thinking too hard and too deep about the things that they see on social media. Like if you're getting upset over someone's yogurt, like you should probably touch grass.
I think that if your stance is that people should care less about food trends, we are going to run out of a job here very quickly.
That's not what I mean. It's not about not caring. It's about like this visceral reaction of taking to your Instagram story and yelling at the camera about it.
Actually, that was a TikTok first, and I let it sit for like 2 days to get really popular on TikTok. Then I reposted it to Instagram once I knew that I had the backing of thousands of people on my side.
I will say that is probably like the biggest difference in like our like opposing perceptions of this is like I'm not really a TikTok user. I have an
I can
account.
tell. I can
I
tell by how much trust you put in the viewer.
I really have tried to get into it, but I just don't find TikTok to be an enjoyable app. The very first time that I used TikTok, I opened it up and it showed me like a horrible video of a mother like saying goodbye to her dying child, and I was like, "What the hell is going on here? I want off this app."
You
So
can see how somebody
I'm
might crash out after 10 minutes on the FYP.
so I do get it. I'm definitely like an Instagram Reels gal, which means I'm receiving everything like 4 to 10 days late. So
I think it is worth noting that you did manage to tiptoe around the minefield that is activating my real crash out trap card by using the despised phrase let people enjoy things. So thank you for that. And at the end of the day, it's night. What's next?
Vital Farms have been under fire after tests found higher than expected levels of linoleic acid in their eggs, raising concerns that they may be less nutritionally ideal than consumers are led to believe by the brand's premium, ethics-focused marketing. Vital Farms have responded, asserting that they meet pasture-raised standards and are transparent about their practices.
I read an essay several months ago that I don't remember the name nor author of that I will link to Derek right now so that he can put it on the screen, but it was covering this concept of binary automata and and I talked about this last week. We'll see many binary automata in our lifetime. Last week we talked about skinny jeans versus baggy jeans, and today it's whether or not an egg from a place like Vital Farms is any good. And I remember as a really young man, probably like 13, I was asking my uncle all the time, anytime I like drove in his truck with him, to play his CD with who I called the Angry Guy on it. And that Angry Guy, now I know with age, it was Lewis Black. He had like some stand-up special on CD that was in my uncle's truck, and there were two lines that I remember the most. One of them is, "If it weren't for my horse, if it weren't for my horse," which isn't relevant to this conversation, but the second one was, "Eggs are good, eggs are bad, the whites are good, the yolks are bad. Make up your mind, I gotta eat breakfast." And that was so relevant so long ago, and it still is, that it's just like, this is one of those binary automata that we're just going to watch vacillate back and forth for the rest of our life.
I do think that bit there about the eggs are good, eggs are bad, blah, blah, blah. Like, I think that still rings really true today. Friend of the show, Hydroxide Food Science, posted a great little reel about this, or TikTok, if you're the TikTok people, but basically being like, yeah, every year or so, there's like some sort of like new PR about eggs. And I just feel like it's one of those like categories of food that like people are never going to win. People are always going to have these like really strong feelings about, whether you should or should not consume them, or how you should consume them, or what parts of them. And I feel very lucky that I have managed to like stay out of so much like egg discourse in the last year by way of like having friends with chickens. Like, most of the eggs I get are from like a friend of mine that lives very close to me. And if not, I'm buying cheap eggs at Sam's Club because I'm not thinking that hard about it. And I want to pay as little as possible for these eggs, especially in the last year when they were getting so expensive. I do have like empathy for the people who think they have been buying these like really high quality products when in reality they've probably been wasting $11 on a carton of eggs, and that's like an absolutely insane price.
I do get all of my Vital Farms eggs for $2 on GoPuff due to the GoPuff Gambit that is only going to last for about one more week until all of my credits run out. But I don't think like I'm an anti-intellectual to not care about the acid profile of my eggs. I think this is just like one of those seed oil type things where it's just like, this is something that I really need to care about, versus the fact that it's just like, yeah, yippee, go me. I'm eating Whole Foods. I'm eating eggs for breakfast instead of cereal, which is, I think, largely a net positive. I do feel bad for the people who care mostly about like the welfare of the animal. I think eggs are uniquely positioned to be cheap enough that this is where you can sort of vote with your dollar. Whereas if you care enough about chickens to purchase expensive chicken meat, that's going to impact your wallet a significant amount more. I did see a video of somebody doing some sort of like armchair investigative journalism, again on TikTok. So maybe you'll see it in a couple of weeks, where they look at the live feed of the chickens, because this company lets you look at a live feed with cameras all around the pasture. And most of the hens are in the hen house instead of out on the pasture. And it was this big expose, like, oh, what do you mean? They're not even out on the pasture. This is false advertisement. And so now I don't know which came first. Like, I imagine now, after hearing this news, that video was part of this takedown where they're like, we got to take down this company. And, I also saw some recipe vloggers get their comments just blown up for using Vital Farms eggs in their recipes. And it's just, in my opinion, very, very stupid to watch an egg brand get canceled in real time. Like, it's just stupid on its face.
Yeah, and I have seen a little bit of the cancellation of people for using Vital Farms eggs too. And I find that extra crazy because, like, in the context in which I'm seeing it, in what world do we live in that people have the intensity and the energy to go and shit on someone's video from 6 months ago over information that came out like this week?
It comes from a place of feeling powerless and wanting to feel as though you've gained some power. Like, we did it, Reddit. We did this thing. We solved the mystery. Or like, we did it, TikTok. We got this egg company. Yeah, exactly. Well, like, I saw a video of like everybody prepping for the big snowstorm, and they're at the grocery store and they're like, look, everything's sold out except for the Vital Farms eggs. Nobody wants those because they're terrible, right? And it's like, well, maybe it's because they're like $11 and nobody wants to spend that much for eggs. Like, I think this idea that's just like, we're doing it, it's happening, is really, really rampant on vertical short form video.
I would agree. I also feel like this is only a little bit of a related aside here, but I saw a woman talking about like all of these videos of people going to the grocery store and being like, look, everything's so empty, they're running out of food. And she pointed out that in a lot of these videos, it's Trader Joe's that people are taking videos in. And I have like noticed that to be somewhat true. A lot of the videos of that nature I'm seeing do appear to take place in Trader Joe's, which is a very small grocery store to begin with that sells 75% snack food, 25% like real ingredients. And it's like, well, yeah, no wonder the shelves at Trader Joe's are looking a little bit bare. They have 10 cartons of eggs. Like,
When you show me the shelves empty at Costco, that'll be the time to panic. And now that we're talking about things that are only tangentially related to the story, I can leave my final note, which is that nobody determines the vibe, the swag, like eggs. Eggs have always been like the barometer by which we measure the swag levels of certain foods. Like Rocky was a moment where it's just like, I'm gonna drink raw eggs. This is cool. Or like egg white omelets. It's like I'm skinny. I'm chic. I eat egg white omelets. Omu rice. Grocery prices. Whenever we talk about grocery prices, it's like, well, how much are your eggs cheaper yet? And so I think eggs have been and always will be a sort of cultural touchstone and crucible by which a lot of ideas are formed.
Yelp has introduced Menu Vision, a new app feature that lets diners point their phone at a physical restaurant menu and instantly pull up user-submitted photos and reviews tied to that specific dish. Yelp hopes to make the future more immersive in the future, going as far as to project images and reviews onto your menu through your camera view.
There are certain foods of which I think the appearance we can almost always anticipate. A sunny side up egg, which we just mentioned, a slice of cake, a sandwich on focaccia, where like a fancy garnish is really all you can do to elevate or change its appearance. But once you move up in price and fanciness of a restaurant, the menu descriptions do become less visually evocative. Like Applebee's might put a picture of their menu items on the menu, but a $45 cheeseburger is going to have like monospace slab serif text with details that normies don't know how to decode. Like if I say something like, this is salt wash salmon, is that a process of preparing the salmon? Is that like a specific breed of salmon? Or is that like the name of the place where the establishment purchases their fish? We get our salmon from salt wash. And so this does help with that, at least.
I think that that's like a valid point. Um, to me, there's a part of me that wants to like immediately respond like annoyed at all of this. This reminds me of like a meme that I've seen a couple times of people just like talking about, why don't restaurant menus have pictures? I want to be able to see what I'm eating before I get it. And like, I get it, but to me, something like this with the Yelp feature and being able to like project the image in front of you on your menu, like it's like we're going so far to just like avoid asking questions like to the waitress. Like
Oh,
if you
I
don't
can't even
understand.
imagine asking the waitress, like, how is this plated and how would it look? I would be way too anxious for something like
Well,
that.
I don't think that that's what people are like looking for. Like people aren't looking up images of their dish to be like, is there artistry here? Like, people are probably looking to be like, are there ingredients here that I don't want to eat? Does this look repulsive to me? Like, I think the vast majority of people who are like looking for photos and restaurant reviews online, like have a thing that they're already like going in looking for. And I don't think that that thing is like, how beautifully is this plated? And also like to that extent, like, most restaurants have Instagram pages. Like you can go and see probably pictures of like their most popular dishes and things like that on their Instagram or in the tagged photos of their Instagram. I just think that this is like giving Pokemon Go in like a weird way. Like I don't want to see a Togepi in front of me on my dinner table, and I don't want to see like a holographic meatloaf in front of me on the dinner table.
This is how you out yourself as somebody who goes out to dinner with a lot of other foodies, because I don't know, like when it comes to
I
me,
don't go out to dinner with anybody.
But yeah, when I
Just
go
me and Dan.
anytime I go out to dinner, I got people who are just like, "Hey, can you explain what this is to me?" Because it's like if somebody orders, let's say gazpacho, it's like, "What is that? Is it a soup? Is it a sandwich?" Because it's like on the menu it just says like tomato, bell pepper, whatever. Like, what am I ordering here? And so to be able to see that in front of them does help them imagine what it actually is. And they could go on the Instagram and look up what gazpacho is, but that's going to be a lot more difficult for somebody who actually just cares about what it looks like.
Yeah, or you could just you could Google what gazpacho is. You could ask the waitress like what what happened to communicating. Like if something is unclear and you want to know something about it, you can ask. Like you're totally allowed to do that.
You are allowed, but if you're asking what happened to communicating in 2026, I'm afraid you're about 7 years too late to be asking that question. It's long gone. I also raise you this TikTok of a video of a family who they're all guessing what the side of carrots that they ordered at a fancy restaurant will look like, and that's, I think, a fun game in that it's just like a cute, cheeky little thing where they're like, how are the carrots gonna show up? But there is I think there is an anxiety about that. Like, how many carrots am I ordering? If I order a pizza, is it going to come out like 18 inches or a tiny little one? there's a lot of things
Pizza
I
restaurants say how big their pizzas are.
Oh, we're
I've
talking
never
fancy restaurants, though.
No, well, like, I feel like a pizza place, like, worth its weight in dough is gonna tell you how big your pizza is gonna get. Like, if you're going somewhere for, like, Neapolitan-style pizza, it's probably gonna be, like, a 10-inch pie. If you're going to, like, a regular pizza joint, it's probably gonna be a choice between, like, a 12-inch pie and a 16-inch pie. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm just frustrated because I think that these are all things that people should know and don't, and I'm, like, in my little bubble where, I think everyone thinks just like me and has the same, like, insight.
Yeah, if I tell my mom to draw a picture of a Detroit-style pizza, I don't think she'll even make it square. So it's like, not everybody's foodies, and a lot of people eat out all the time. And it does tickle me that now you're the one who is having a hard time understanding this thing, and I'm the calm one who says just let it happen, because I don't. It's like a lowercase a accessibility issue. Like you've now allowed people to see the picture of their food more easily before they order it, and I don't see how there's a downside to that any more than like the grandpas and grandmas who are like sticking out their phones with the flashlight to read in a dark room. Like this is just a different flavor of that.
I don't necessarily think there's, like, a downside. Like, I don't think, like, if anyone is, like, watching this and is like, "I love the idea of this feature. This sounds so helpful." Like, this is not a moral failing on your part. Like, I just think it feels like a weird, like, last-ditch effort from Yelp to be like, "Here's a thing that makes us different," because people aren't using Yelp so much these days. Like, I looked up the stats on, like, Google reviews versus Yelp, and it's somewhere between 83 and 92% of consumers will look at Google reviews before going to a business or a restaurant, and it's only around, like, 44 to 48% of people looking at Yelp, so it's almost twice as much.
I wonder how they gathered that data though, because like if I Google a restaurant, even if I want to like ultimately get to a map view of it, I'm going to see the reviews right there in the main results. But I think about the Chinese takeout spots of the '90s with the photos right above the order booth, or like fancy bars where they have illustrations of their cocktails. I really appreciate that, even though it doesn't change whether I'm going to order it or not. They do all require like an artist or a photographer, and they don't update themselves over time if the presentation changes, if the glass that you use for your cocktail changes, if you start garnishing or stop garnishing the dish with broccoli instead of chives or whatever. And so crowdsourcing that work does help the owner. Like there's a really struggling burger spot next to me that will fail within the next year, I have no doubt. But I haven't tried it because their burger imagery is all AI generated. So I don't know like what kind of burger they sell. Smash burgers, thick burgers. I have no idea what they look like. I'm not going to walk in and just be like, hello, what kind of burger? Can you tell me, like describe them to me? What kind of burger am I to expect? I did eventually
That's a
look them up.
totally normal thing to do, though.
Oh no, I'll never do that. That kind?
Your
Never mind.
social
Goodbye.
anxiety doesn't mean that it's not, like, a totally normal thing to ask.
Well, I did look it up on Instagram, and they do look very yucky, like the cheap bun. That like there's no way I would have known that they use those like cheap commodity grade buns and out of season tomatoes and yucky lettuce without seeing a picture of it. And I don't think that if I asked them to describe it, they'd be like, "Yes, we use the palest tomatoes you've ever seen." So that's one example in which I wish I had a photo of the food.
I'm definitely biased here as somebody who, like, does occasionally leave a Google review. I'm outing myself here as, like, a review leaver. Only if things are exceptionally good or exceptionally bad. I don't believe in leaving, like 3 and 4-star reviews. But I just think that, like, people aren't using Yelp, and the people that are using Yelp are statistically mostly people in, like, their 40s and 50s, and I feel like my best guess is that that demographic probably doesn't care that much about the meatloaf hologram in front of them, you know?
I feel the exact opposite when I imagine who's interested in this.
I don't know, man, like, my dad can barely send a text message, let alone conjure up a hologram of his dinner in front of him. Like, maybe I'm not giving people enough credit.
I want you to Pokemon Go to the restaurant. How's that for a segue? What's new? What's new for the products?
All right, this week I have in fun new products for you. We have the Buzzballs Pink Lemon Squeezy 9-carat diamond ring headed for auction on eBay. Little Debbie ice cream sandwiches available in Cosmic Brownie and Oatmeal Cream Pie. And Pillsbury frozen mini bagels stuffed with your choice of either strawberry or cinnamon cream cheese filling.
Do you know if the Little Debbie ice cream sandwiches are like real dairy ice cream, or are they like what is the word? Frozen dairy dessert.
It says ice cream on the package. It says ice cream sandwich.
Nice. They look good. Like the photography of the product looks insanely good, where I'm just like, holy cow, this is either like really enhanced or not natural, not human.
I have seen somebody eat the Cosmic Brownie one, like a classic like snacking in your car video, and it looked pretty good. It looked like a solid ice cream sandwich. I know Little Debbie has been making like pint ice cream that you can get at like Walmart and Dollar General and things like that for a while, so this makes sense. And I feel like a company like Little Debbie doesn't have like a ton of places to go with that kind of brand, and I think ice cream is the logical direction.
They're just kind of flailing in general, I think, with people not wanting to eat a whole lot of slop, because this Christmas I saw a lot of people doing, like, they have those little frosted Christmas trees, and I saw them selling those, like those frosted Christmas trees as Christmas decor. I think a similar slop problem is the Pillsbury frozen mini bagels, because I hear it and I'm like, oh, that sounds actually kind of interesting and neat, sort of like a frozen Uncrustable. But then I look at the picture and it's like weirdly square, just doesn't look very cool. Like, I'll say that I get excited at the notion of Pillsbury innovation as a child of toaster strudels, but these packaged products, they give off an air of like hospital breakfast or school breakfast.
A school breakfast is exactly where I'm going with this. I don't know if you would remember these, but back in the day when I was in like maybe the 6th grade, there were these things called bagelfuls, and they were these like frozen bagel products, and it was like a fat little like finger shaped bagel filled with cream cheese, and it's frozen and you heat it up, and the idea is like it's a bagel with the cream cheese in it already, except the problem is that you heat it up and out comes this pool of like molten liquid cream cheese, and it's like not at all the ideal form that you would want to eat either of those items in, and it was disgusting. It would get like really slimy, and this just feels like a reinvention of that, of something that we already knew was gross and bad.
Well, speaking of worse and ugly, the $13,000, what is it? It's like $35,000 value, the 9-carat lab-grown diamond ring.
Yes.
Every time I hear about a BuzzBallz product coming out, I'm just like, surely this will be the straw on the camel's back that makes people understand that BuzzBallz is the stupidest product ever invented. And yet, no, I still see the ads with little Dicky doing the Buzzball kettlebell workout, and I'm just like, yes, this actually makes sense for somebody who's not paying attention. This is a cool, funny thing.
Yeah, I mean, it has got to be one of the ugliest pieces of jewelry I have ever seen in my life. And it's like 9-carat diamond ring. That's like great and all, but it's 9 carats worth of these like itty bitty little shards of pink diamonds.
It's like 9 total carat weight?
Yes.
I thought it was the central one.
No, it's the 9 carats in total. It's like, like a cluster style ring.
Then I have no idea how they came to that value, because for $13,000, you could get a much prettier 9-carat lab-grown diamond ring at brilliance.com. I looked it up.
Well, the whole deal with this is that they're going to be auctioning it off on eBay as like a Valentine's Day thing starting February 13th, and all the money gets donated to, it was very vague. It said like to a heart-related charity or something like that, and I was like, I don't like the sound of that. Like, not the sound of donating to charity, but the vagueness of it all. Like, if you're going to be trying to raffle off like the ugliest, most expensive piece of jewelry in the world for charity, like, I would at least like to know where that money is going.
I'll say I will be paying attention. I will watch the auction live when it takes place, and if it is under $5,000, I'll place a bid. One, because it's a tax write-off. It's for work. Basically, I'll get like a 30% discount because this is for the show. And two, because, I now have my hands on that mug root beer cologne, and I saw an eBay listing for that for $200 yesterday. What?
Wow. Imagine you sitting out at home, you've got the BuzzBallz ring on, you're walking on your Natty Light tread mower, spritzing your mug perfume. CPG King over here.
Yeah, when Derek said this is the century of Eater's Digest prosperity, I don't know if that's what he was imagining, but it's what I'm working towards.
Oh, God.
See you all next week. Goodbye.
Bye, guys.
Eater's Digest is published every Friday on YouTube, Spotify, and other podcast platforms. You can also get a text-based version delivered to your email every Friday at patreon.com/shack.